Hello again from my front porch, coming to you live from the heart of Siberia. Actually, in all honesty, it's warmed up now. It's a balmy 32 degrees last time I looked. Yeah! I say that because at the beginning of the week, it was literally, when I started the day on Monday, it was literally temperature minus 13 with a wind chill that drove that temperature down at least another 15 degrees, possibly more. That's cold. Woo, Lordy, is that cold. Right now it's 32 degrees, which means it warmed up just enough that we could get snow. And we only have a little dusting when I got up this morning, but there's more coming down now. We're getting some snow flurries right now coming down, and so who knows how that's gonna wind up. Yay! But it's funny. I've lived in Iowa my whole life, my ever lengthy life. And you would think that if you're going to live in a state like Iowa for nearly 6 decades, like me, that this kind of weather would just be common, that this would grow on you. It has not. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. I'm sort of done with this weather. As I've discussed before, there are reasons that I still live in Iowa, even though I don't care for this part right here. But this is not something that has grown on me. Not like the beard. See, I still have the beard. Notice how the beard? Yeah, it's grown on me. It's something that allows me to be able to keep part of my face covered, and that seems to be popular among a lot of people. They all say, "Yeah, you look really good with a beard." So I assume that means, you cover up part of your face, makes you look all the better. Yay, okay, I can appreciate that. But seriously, for the time being, I am keeping the beard. I have liked the reactions, the feedback. I've liked most of the reactions. There are some people who they really honestly do seem to treat me with a little more respect in some cases, where it's like somehow this magically means that I'm wiser. All old wizards have a beard, so must be part of that. But there's also been, there's also been some who treat me a little differently in ways I don't necessarily like. Like the young people who will. I've had a lot more doors held open for me. Let's just say that, a lot more. After you, sir. Not sure how I feel about that. But anyway, the beard has grown on me. But I'm not convinced I'm going to keep it around forever. What I tell people is, it's working so far, but when it gets to a point where it's a nuisance, where it takes more hassle to maintain than it's worth, then I'll get rid. Because right now, shaving on a daily basis is a lot easier. Now, honestly, I didn't shave today, but shaving on a daily basis is a lot easier. I only have to shave my neck. I only have to shave on a little bit on my cheeks, and boom, I'm done. That's a lot better than having to shave your whole face. I do like that. However, I do have to maintain this. Like, at the start of the week, I took the clipper things and with the little scooper, whatever it's called, and thinned it out, because I'm not trying to go for the ZZ Top look either. So I did address that, made it look a little more, civilized in this way. And so you got to do stuff like that. But so far it hasn't been too much of an inconvenience. And people will say, speaking of the cold outside, well, it must be nice in this kind of winter, have to have a little extra warmth on your face. I don't know. When it's 13 below with a wind chill that's even lower than that, and you're walking right into the wind, trust me, this doesn't do much. So it's a nice thought, but no, it doesn't really do a lot there. But I got to thinking about how things grow on us, how we, something that we didn't necessarily like, or it might be a little harsh, maybe something we just didn't care about, suddenly over time becomes something that we connect with more. And so, I was thinking about things like that, like music, for example, people's music preference changing over time. Now, I don't think my music preference really has changed all that much over time, and that partly because I've always had kind of an eclectic interest in music, but also because today I'm mostly interested in old music, so I haven't kept up with the times. But standardly, I will tell people that I pretty much like all kinds of music. Well, except for rap, but since it's not really music, it doesn't count. But I say that, and there are a handful, a very small handful, but a handful of rap songs that I do enjoy listening to. That I even have some in my iPhone, and I listen to at times. And it's like, well, there was a point where I wouldn't even listen to those. And so they have kind of grown on me about the same time that they started to be played on the oldie stations because they're that old. But TV and movie characters, there's some that are introduced with the intent to be the butt of the joke or the villain. And because of their portrayal and because of the way they connect with the audience, they grow on us. I think of Steve Urkel on Family Matters, where he was supposed to be the punchline from next door, and yet he grows into being this character that the show ultimately, he's pretty much the star of the show. The Winslow family was supposed to be the star of the show, but the neighbor kid steals it because Steve Urkel becomes such an interesting character for a lot of folks. He grew on us. Or as he would say, he was wearing us down. I personally, I think of one of my role models when I was growing up, and that was Michael J. Fox's character of Alex P. Keaton on the show Family Ties. And it was supposed to be a show about this hippie couple, this former hippie couple that are raising family now and going through what all that means. And they have a son who somehow mysteriously grows up as a Republican, like uber Republican. And so he's supposed to be the punchline as well. And the Alex Keaton character turns into the star of the show by the time the series is done. He grew on people. And but even villains, like I love the TV show Dallas. And at the time when I was a kid, when it was on, some of it I didn't even fully comprehend. I understand more now. But there were two main characters of that show originally, two brothers, Bobby Ewing, who is everything good and virtuous and noble, and J.R. Ewing, who is the villain. He's the dirty, he's the heavy, he's the ugly. And he's doing all this bad stuff, and Bobby's over here trying to compensate, trying to balance things out, and they are constantly at battle, at odds with one another. So JR is supposed to be the villain. He does stuff in one storyline that makes you go, JR, oh, what are you doing? Oh, Bobby, you just need to kick that JR out of the ranch again. And then the next storyline, the family's in trouble, the fortune's in jeopardy, the oil rights are going to be, and JR does his JR stuff and saves the day. And over time, JR becomes that villain you love to hate, or the villain you hate to admit you love. He grew on us to the point that JR took on a larger than life persona. The episode where JR got shot in the original series that drew the most viewers of any team, broke records. JR's influence became so strong that when they did a revival of the show here in more recent times, it was on for about 3 seasons on TNT, I think it was, and they brought back Bobby and JR and Sue Ellen and some of the original cast members playing the same roles in the revival of it, the continuation of the storyline. But when Larry Hagman, who played JR, and had cancer in real life, and they knew his time was almost up. What a great actor, great man he was. He didn't just pull out. He helped set up for the fans a fitting farewell for JR. That JR stages his own murder. This time he is going to be dead, but he manages to stage it in a way that it hangs it on one of his enemies, even though his enemy wasn't anywhere near him at the time. But it sets it all up so that one of his enemies takes the fall for murdering him when he wasn't even murdered at all. He was shot by his own pal or his own worker because he knew he was dying of cancer, just like Larry Hagman was dying of cancer. And so it does this really great thing. But it's like when that happened, everybody is sad. The villain, the heavy, the bad guy, everybody is like, oh, poor JR, he's really gone. Oh, and the show didn't continue on. They tried. They went a little bit longer, but it just, without JR, it didn't work. JR was supposed to be the villain. He's supposed to be the bad guy, the heavy, but he grew on us. Became the center of that. And there's lots of movies that have the same kind of thing, but lots of TV, and you probably have your own. But we can take this into more of a personal realm where, friends. I have some friends in my life right now that the first time I met that person, I wasn't quite sure what to think about them. And they probably felt the same way about me. And it was only through other interactions that you begin to build that bond, that common ground. And today, they're some of my best friends. And but I think back to what I thought of them the first time I met them, and what I'm sure they thought of me. And it's like, man, how did we even become friends? But you grow on one another. Coworkers, I've really had this happen. I've had it happen in the other way too, where somebody you did like, then you don't. But that's a whole different matter. But I've had coworkers that, when you first meet them, you're like, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna. But then over time, they grow on you, and you're like, how about you want to go hang out? Let's hang out after work, stuff. And yes, it happens. They just grow on us. I think of my parents. My dad says, oh yeah, Dorothy was she was cute, and she was tiny, and she was funny, and my mom says, yeah, excuse me, says, yeah, but he was skinny and shy and gangly, and I didn't like him at all. And if you remember the episode where they were sitting here on the porch swing when they were telling her, my dad then goes, yeah, well, I got over that, didn't I? It's might be one of my favorite punchlines from the front porch ever. But my daughter had the same thing happen with her and her husband Josh, who, if you see them today, you cannot imagine them not being connected. You can't imagine them not being together. And yet, when they first met, he was an admirer of hers. She was beautiful, she was smart, she was talented, which of course was all true. It's genetic, she couldn't help it. But she didn't think the same of him. She actually thought he was just some dumb jock kind of guy. She wouldn't give him the time of day. And they graduate college, they go their separate ways, and through other events, they wound up being brought back together, their paths cross again. And now the time has gone on a little ways, things are a little different. And now they connect, and that connection gets stronger. And as the connection gets stronger, the personal feelings grow until all of a sudden, one day they're getting married. Ta-da! And now he may have imagined that back when they were in college, but she did not. And now today they are so happy and they're so great together. And I am so happy for them entirely. I think about, it's possible. I don't know if this is always the case, but it's possible that it's not so much a matter of things that grow on us like a beard, but how we evolve into things. That we were here and now we've evolved to this. We're still the same person, but there's been an evolution of some aspects of us. And that would be like with Ashley and Josh. They clearly, you see them today and you know they were meant to be together. But when they first met, that was not the indication. They needed to evolve a little farther. Each of them needed to grow, to develop, to get more into that place where that connection would make sense. Odd segue, but I feel that way about food. Because I think about foods that I eat now, that I turned my nose up now obviously when I was a kid, I was like most kids today, I only want chicken nuggets, I only want french fries. Now, when I was growing up, I don't think flavor was allowed in our house because we would have pizza, it was Canadian bacon pizza. We would have spaghetti, it'd be spaghetti, Chef Boyardee sauce, which is, if you like Chef Boyardee, good for you. But in my opinion, it's one of the most tasteless sauces out there. And ground up hamburger, not sausage, hamburger. And we'd mix that together, and that was spaghetti. So I was raised in an environment in which there wasn't a whole lot of experimenting with flavors and tastes and seasonings and all kinds of stuff. And so it wasn't until I got out on my own, and especially in the last 10 years here, after I got divorced, I tried to force myself to open up to some other things a little more. I had some help from like my daughter who would nudge me and say, try this, Dad, try this, Dad. And so there were some things I tried that I then found out I did not like. But there were a lot of things that I tried that I found out I did like. And then after I got diagnosed as diabetic, and I found out, I couldn't eat a lot of the things that I normally was eating, or at least not much of those things. I needed instead to shift to some of these other things. A lot of that was stuff I didn't like. I had never eaten, and so I'm like, I don't want to have to eat that. But I tried. Again, push your envelope, stretch outside those boundaries. And now today, I'm eating Brussels sprouts, not just raw. I mean, I like them cooked or fried. And by the time they're put together, maybe they're not healthy. I don't know. But Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, not just in the crust of pizza, but actual just cauliflower, broccoli, asparagus. These are all things that I would have never considered eating when I was, and I'm not just talking about when I was a kid. I'm talking about when I was a younger adult. that I would have been like, oh, the only thing green that I want to eat is lettuce. That's the only, stuff like that. And so now today, the fact that I not only eat these things, but that I will voluntarily order them is just like, but those things didn't really grow on me because it's not like I was eating them until, okay, now they taste good. No, I evolved to the point that I was ready to give them a legitimate try, and now it tasted good. But the taste part is the part that I also think, is that a grow on you or an evolution? Because it's not like I hadn't tasted some of these things when I was younger, but I didn't like the taste. Hated it. Now I like donuts now. I've always liked donuts. I like donuts with maple frosting. I used to hate that. My dad ate those, and I never understood why he would like that. Now today, if I have a choice between a white frosted donut, a chocolate frosted donut, and a maple frosted donut, I'm taking the maple. I like it. Dark chocolate. Oh, when I was younger, I was bitter. Ugh, yeah, nasty. Now, I will eat entire candy bars of the dark chocolate. Now, part of me is because my brain rationalizes that it's supposed to be healthy for me. Well, not if you eat a whole lot of it. It's still not. But still the point being, I couldn't choke the stuff down when I was younger. Now, it's like, yeah, it's good. So, did it grow on me like a beard? No. I don't think so, because again, it's not like I've been eating it off and on until it started to taste good. No, I think my taste buds changed. They evolved to a point where now I'm willing to do. Now, perhaps the evolution was triggered by trying other things and coloring outside the lines in the foods I was eating, and that opened up my taste buds to go, oh, well, let's try new things. Let's be open to new. I don't know. I don't know if they have their own little brains like that or not. Hopefully not, because now that I say that, that'd be weird. The voices in my head, oh, they're all coming from my tongue. But as we're, I still like to try and challenge myself to try new things, to branch out, and one of the things that I am trying to be aware of is the fact that it's not always that something grows on you, that you just keep doing until it works. Sometimes you have to be at a point where you have evolved into that. And you have to be open to accept that as well. The fact that you turned your nose up at something, no matter what it was in the past, doesn't mean that today you're still going to have that reaction. Be open to it. Try it. Well, anyway, I'm still not open to the snow, which has actually picked up since we've been out here chatting. I told you before, just a little shower, a little snow shower, a little. Now it's a little more than flurries. Now the flakes are getting bigger, and it's going to start accumulating. Darn it. Oh well, I guess some of those people down at the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America or whatever we're calling it. I guess those folks that got tired of the snow they weren't ready for decided to send some of it up this way. That's okay. We know what to do with it up here. Down there, I have a coworker who lives in Baton Rouge, and she was talking about how they got 3.5 inches, and it shut the place down. The schools were closed down, the business, all this stuff, because they don't know what to do with it. Where she lives, they have never had snow, and now she's got nearly 4 inches of snow. Up here, we get 3 or 4 inches of snow, and it's, hey, plan a little extra time on your commute today. Everything's going on like normal. But it's just what you're used to. I have not evolved into liking snow. It has not grown on me. And in fact, the longer I sit out there, the colder my knees are getting. That's sad. Being old, the beard has made me older. That's what's happened. So I better go inside before I turn into a complete old man. So I'll let you go, and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.